Hmm. All right. Today is February 11th, 2026. And it's been an eventful week. Really been an eventful week. I'll probably start backwards. And as I was thinking on what I was going to talk about today, if I just wanted to give an update or if I wanted to kind of be a little bit more transparent in this. So I will, yeah, that's how I'll start. So yesterday, my my grandmother, the last living grandparent, transitioned. And all things considered, I think I'm taking it I think I'm taking it pretty well. Um, I know there was a for the past like 12 years after my grandfather passed, I remember telling mostly everybody I knew who was close to me, as difficult as it was going through the grieving process with my grandfather, I always knew that my grandmother was going to be tougher because my relationship with her is extremely strong, extremely strong. And even when I went back home, I always made sure any possible chance I got, I would go see her. I always wanted to make sure I could touch and I could still have that point of contact. I wanted her to still know I was here. Phone calls with me hasn't always been the greatest. But when I came back, I was present. I was present. And so I really believe that it was going to be difficult. I knew based on who I was and where I was at, I knew it was going to be difficult. And I guess really after 2 days, I do have moments, but for the vast majority of it, I've been able to function. Um, I'm really going to attribute it to the healing journey that I've been on, the spiritual slash healing journey I've been on, which really started, yeah, I'll say maybe about 90 days ago or so, where I had a hypnosis session that took me through past lives, honestly. Not even, can't make it up if I tried. I was there. Um, and that started a healing process for me that was more than just trauma, if you will, or dealing with stuff when I was a kid. It did that too, but it went into a deeper level than what my standard therapy, because I in therapy also, what beyond what the standard therapy does, because that works on things that I can understand, or things that I end up going back, kind of reflecting on, where the hypnosis session had me focus on karmic patterns and things that repeat, that was beyond what's going on with this version of me. And so from that, I've been guided to different pieces of content and different people were just speaking on higher consciousness and people who have near death experiences or who have died and have come back and have told their story, or the belief and understanding that we are soul living in a physical body. And after this, after the job in the body is done, we go back to source and reconnect and go back until we incarnate into another reality, another existence, another consciousness. But it's all consciousness. And so with all of these, I'll call them belief systems. That's because different people believe different things. But because of all these things that really resonate with me and has expanded my mind and opened my mind up into where I can see a little more than just the stuff that's in front of me. It allowed me to process this. And the other thing that that realm of thinking, not just on life and death, but just on the existence in itself. And as I stated, living in my highest vibration to the best of my ability every single day and reframing the definitions that I have for certain outcomes and changing the way I look at it. All of this has allowed me to be in a more peaceful place. I had a very close friend whose father passed um, a few weeks ago. I've had friends of family whose parents have passed. There's since September. There's been a, a handful or two of people whose parents have passed, and some of them I've grieved for, or I'm seeing it happen. Oh, it's just back after back, back to back to back to back to back, and oddly enough, I ended up having a conversation with a friend whose father passed actually the day before. So, I got a phone call saying that she wasn't doing well and they may need to look at hospice. And later that night, I had a conversation with the friend, and we conversation I didn't tend to make it on to make it about remembering or revisiting each of my grandparents and how I took their transition, starting with my first grandmother who passed when I was 9, and then grandfather, grandmother. Um, all but one was in their upper 80s. Like my grandmother was 100. The most recent one who passed, she was 100, right? Like she just turned 100 last month. And I had another one that was 92, another one that was like 88, 89. So they all they all lived full lives. And though somebody may be sick, when the reality kicks in, you still have to go through the grieving process, right? So one, I'm thankful that this was not a violent or tragic transition that took place. And two, I had I went from age 9 to, I don't know, 40. I think 40, to go from one grandparent passing to the other, which happened to be his wife. Yeah, my grandfather's. They was married. The first two, they was married, and then, oh no, I'm sorry. From there to, okay, so it's from 92 or something like that. I can never remember the date until 2014, where a different grandfather passed. And then 2021, her husband passed, and then um, yesterday, the last one. But I remember, and then going back and saying how I was going to need help. I believe that I was given I just kept saying, I know I'm going to need help. I know I'm going to need help. And so I was given time and growth to be able to be ready for when it happened. That's how I'm looking at it anyway. It's like you have one, and I'm like, man, the next one is going to be really rough for me. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I honestly don't know if I'm what type of support I'm gonna have. I know I'm gonna have it. I just don't know what type. And so, I get to do more. I get to grow. I get to get better. I get to get back on my feet and go through so many so many paths of my journey to where my grandmother knew I was good. She knew I was good. Even when I let the grandfather pass while I was in this process, and I got to tell him I was moving, and then but he didn't see me get to this place where she got to see me move and she got to see me come back and continue to grow. And so there was a level of synchronicity in how I am looking at all of this. Not only was I given time to grow, to be able to process, but I'm having conversation with a person who just lost their parent, and I'm able to just speak to them about grief and how I've been able and how I've grieved through each of my grandparents passing. And after that conversation ended, literally the very next day, which there was always a part of me that was kind of expecting it really happened. And so I'm thankful that, and on top of all that, I'm in this Lee Harris higher consciousness, connecting more to source spiritual course. So I've been able to use these exercises these last few days as ways to go through the healing process within the grief. And so, and not to mention being able to experience grieving with peace and with happiness with when it came with my friend's father. Right. So that was the most recent one that I had to that experience. And I just felt like I was prepared. And it set me up to handle this. Handle sounds like doesn't sound like the best word, but that's the one I'm using. It allowed me to navigate this grief, the one that I felt that was going to be the deepest and hardest for me to work through. And I'm doing pretty good. I got worked out today. I didn't do nothing yesterday. Yesterday, I was like, what I do, I do. I got I got some steps in, but that workout didn't happen. But today I did work out and got all the steps in, and I've continued to eat. And so that was really the biggest thing. That was the most eventful thing that has taken place. And really I'm just grateful for every grandparent that I've had because there's something that they've each have implanted into me, and it has helped me. A part of them has helped me through everything that I've gone through. And so this is growth. This is growth. This is totally growth. Yeah, because even 5 years ago, I didn't think I would have. It would have been a little bit. Still would have been more difficult than how I'm taking it now, just based on where I was. And yes, I do still have my moments. When I meditate, when I think about her, I felt um, the other night when I was meditating, I felt her here. And I could hear her voice telling me what she wants me to continue to do. And I did tell her that I was going to do the best that I can to continue and fulfill that wish. And it's not anything crazy. So um yeah, that's really it. That's gonna be all for this one. So grief and synchronicity is really the core to what this one was about. And something's gonna happen next week. Something's gonna happen. I don't know. But I know something's supposed to happen next week. Mm, I'm off on Monday. That's great. Anyway, till next time. Uh, yeah, just remember to take steps back when things seem unfavorable. And even in some of the deepest pain, there's generally there's always some light in there. Always some light in there. That's all I got today.